This is the only right way to actually look at erythronium, is to get down to their level so you can actually understand.
Okay, I gotta join you then.
Okay, this is where you'll find me. And someday I won't be able to get up, but
At least
that's a
you'll
good
die
way
happy.
to go, surrounded by erythronium.
Just looking at our feet, it's like, wow, don't step too far off the path. There's so much going on.
Here's an incredible erythronium patch, mostly erythronium revolutum. So there are like, depending on who you ask, like somewhere between 17 and 19 different erythronium that are native to the west coast of the US. Most of them in northern California and up through some of the Oregon coast. This is one of our Oregon species. So you can see this at Sweet Creek Falls. There's a couple of populations of it. It mostly grows quite close to the coast, but it's one of the best for garden conditions because it grows in coastal conditions. It can tolerate summer water. And a lot of the other erythronium don't like summer water. But one of the great things about having erythronium in a garden, when you have multiples of them, is that you'll start to get hybrids.
Oh, wow.
And they throw up these really fun, like here's one that even has 2 flowers on the little skate. So some of them are a little bit larger than the others.
And then that's the fun part, right? They get to pick which ones they want to keep.
Absolutely.
And which ones they don't want to keep.
And when you're like starting out as a gardener, or like starting out with collecting different bulbs especially, it can be really frustrating because you'll get like 1 or 2 and you think, oh, I'm gonna get a lot of seeds from that. And there's 2 factors that make that difficult. One is that a lot of bulbs, especially erythronium, like won't self-pollinate themselves. So you need to have like 2 or 3 different kinds in order to start getting good seed set. So
like different species?
Not necessarily different species. They just need to be individuals that are like genetically different enough from another. You just want to maybe get like an erythronium revolutum, like get one from here and get one from somewhere else. And then maybe you'll have a better chance of them self-sowing. So that's a tip. And then the other thing is that a lot of bulbs do take a while to flower from seed. So the erythronium seedlings in their first year, actually, I don't even know if this is Chiondodoxa or erythronium, but a lot of the monocot seedlings look like little blades of grass. So that first year you might not even realize that they're the seedlings. Then the second year you start to get these small seed leaves.
Yeah, which are still like,
they probably only send out 1 or 2 in the first year. Then in like your 3rd year and beyond, you start to get like probably a quite small plant, and then it'll eventually bulk up.
Wow,
so,
I love that we have so many different stages right here.
Yeah, and again, that makes it like frustrating when you're starting out because, okay, maybe you only have this or this for the first couple years. But what's great is once you have a little population like this going, every year it's starting to set seeds. So then every year you start to get more and more.
Yeah. One thing that Marietta said to me once was, the best thing you can do as a gardener is stay put.
I absolutely agree with that, and that is advice I really have not followed. So at this point in my life, I am wanting to stay put for a while, and that's why I made my way this direction, for sure.
I planted this red, my favorite tree.
Oh, really?
This little tree.
Gosh.
1973. That's what I always tell people. I say, well, if you garden, don't move.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this was our sheep meadow. There were no trees here.
Erythronium seem to really vary in, oh, isn't that so beautiful? Even within a species, they very much seem to vary in how colorful the leaves are. And I've been told that even the same individual will show different levels of coloring at different years.
Huh.
So I haven't grown them for that long, so I am really curious. I want to understand, like, can we select for the, like, this foliage is just incredible. Like, can we select for that? I just
But
think,
if it's changing in
but
one
yeah,
year,
if it
it's
changes
just-
from one year to another and it's not consistent, then it makes it really hard to select
that makes
for.
it kind of more magical than
Yeah.
that you can't, like, it'll just appear when you're
I
like
know.
that. And that's your year, baby. That's buy a
Exactly.
lottery ticket.
I think that's what plants are really good at, is reminding us to, like, not rely on something forever, but just appreciate it when it's here in its way. Like, you can't
Totally.
force it to come back.
Yeah.
There's another really good cluster over here. Look. And it's so interesting how those are mostly revolutum, and then there's something else popping up in there.
What you're saying just now about that erythronium reminds me of a quote that you wrote where, I think I have to read it actually.
Wow.
I know.
Don't quote myself at me. You're going to be like one of my students. You said this.
It's good, I promise. The joy of working with landscape is that it pushes back.
Oh, yeah. I think that's what's fun about it. Like, it can be so incredibly frustrating when you have this, like, picture in your mind of, like, oh, I'm setting up this beautiful situation, and then it just doesn't turn out the way that you want it to. But I think that's also, like, what makes it so powerful, and that it's this thing that, like, it's a practice that rewards coming back to and spending time with. And I think it also, like, changes us to make us more humble in a way of, like, realizing, oh, I might think I have this picture, but
And so it's perfect that you have found a garden like this that can be your study, where they have a very similar philosophy.
yes. But also I think what's so incredible to me about gardens is how much they reflect the care and the aesthetics and everything of the person who makes them. Like, so many of the gardens that you've visited, places like Heronswood and Wincliffe and Shane Chandler's garden and Marsha Donahue's garden, like, all of those gardens are, like, so personal, and only that person could have made them. And so when you're there, I don't know, it just feels like you're seeing such a part of them,
Yeah.
you know?
But the flip side is, after the gardeners die, like, does the garden have to die with them? Like, I know as it is.
No, I
yes,
know.
but-
It's like, it's something that's like an incredible challenge to have to think with.
yeah.
But it also makes me think of, like, how important the work that you're doing is, where you're documenting and you're having those conversations with people about their gardens. Because, I mean, that's what got me interested in gardens, was that connection to other people and to other places, and seeing these kind of, like, incredible works of care and works of art that people made.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's been so cool, like, as an adult, to then be able to visit gardens that I'd only ever heard about.
And like to be able to talk to
And
these
to talk to the
meet
people and
them.
experience. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I feel so incredibly fortunate to be able to, like, regularly visit this garden, because, you know, when I was a kid, it was like, I only saw it through pictures. I only dreamed it. You've probably noticed these couple of troughs up by the front. And this is where Ernie grows things that are, like, too precious to go out in the open garden at the beginning. These are some Walter Bloom
Cute.
Erythronium that Illahe rare plants outside of Salem, I think. I think they're quite small this year. This variety will get bigger, but I know this was just planted last year.
Oh.
So
So is
it's
this one of the 17 or 19 that you...
this is a hybrid of different species. So
Okay.
Erythronium can be weird in that a lot of them, most bulbs pup a lot. So you have, like, a parent bulb, and then it, like, makes a lot of babies over time. Like, think about why you see daffodils. Erythronium are weird in that a lot of them, like, kind of don't do that. Like, the parent plant reproduces itself, but it doesn't spread very much. You'll occasionally have individuals within a species that do. So this person, I think his name was Walter Bloom, found a bunch of the ones that reproduce and started crossing them with each other to create Erythronium hybrids that would like perform better in gardens. And he did it for a while, sold his collection to someone, and then they're now selling them through Illahe. And so watch Mark's catalog in August usually is when they come up, because there's usually only a few available. But hopefully he's just started selling and growing them in the last couple years. Hopefully soon we'll be able to have a lot more to use in gardens. Okay, so one of the other treasures of this garden, and this is one of my recent obsessions that again reflects a Southern Oregon native plant, is Erythronium hendersonii. And so I love this species because the flowers have these incredible markings on the inside. So they do this like beautiful lilac flush to like a blackberry or blackcurrant thing. Look at that, like
Gorgeous.
absolutely incredible
So
color.
Incredible.
This one, look at how many scapes this one, like look at how many flowers are on an individual stem. That's crazy. So some epimediums do that where they branch and some species don't. I didn't realize that this species does. I've been fortunate to see this one. This one's really common in Southwest Oregon.
Okay.
I've been fortunate to see it at a couple of different locations. And in the wild, it grows in super dry conditions. So the plants will be like a third the size of these and they'll only have one flower. Whereas here in garden conditions, they're much bigger. So you get to see the patterns much better than you would when they're in the wild because the flowers are bigger, the plant's bigger. And one of the other things that's kind of cool about what the O'Byrnes have done here is something that I've noticed in the wild is that they almost always grow, and I don't know why this is, underneath the canopy of other shrubs, especially manzanitas. And so here the O'Byrnes have planted it underneath a manzanita to kind of mimic the situation that you would often see it doing in the wild.
When I was doing a little bit of research for this, I came across the fact that trout lily is because the markings look like a trout.
That's so cool. They also were one of the indigenous root crops that were used for food in this area.
Oh, awesome.
So
like camas?
yeah, so actually like a linguist would be able to tell you better than I, but apparently like camas was like the umbrella term for all of the different root vegetables that the people in this region ate. And we specifically just isolated Camassia as the one for that, but Erythronium was also one in that group.
Oh, very cool.
So I guess they're edible. I don't know. I haven't tried them yet.
The corms actually go deeper every year. They
Yes.
push themselves down into the earth.
And so I'm growing a bunch from seed. And so one of the things that I read was that if you have them in a pot, the bulbs will actually push themselves down where they like root through the plastic at the bottom of the pot. So I'm trying on a lot of her longer term stuff. Marietta does filter fabric, like the evil filter fabric you don't want in a landscape, but you just line the bottom of your flat with it so that the roots can't actually push themselves through the bottom of the flat into the ground. Because when you have something that's going to be in, like they'll be in the bulb flats for a couple of years before they do anything, I don't want to get to the end of my like 3 years and it just be a bunch of the bulbs rooted through the plastic, like halfway through the plastic.
Yeah.
So,
but this is one of the 17 to 19 that you
Yeah.
see in the wild. And what number are you at?
I've seen most of the more common like coast and inland species, but the high elevation ones and the California ones are those that I haven't seen yet. I think I'm at like 5 maybe. 5 of 17. I don't know. There's a guy.
It's a really good goal. I think it's fun.
Yeah, it's like a fun, but the thing is like, okay, they bloom for like 2 weeks. So especially when you're trying to deal with elevation, like figuring out when the right time to go at whatever elevation something would be at and bloom. I'm like, okay, we'll just see.
Hiking all
it's
the
a
way out
long-term
there,
goal.
puffing and puffing.
Exactly. Fortunately, someone else did it already. So I can like reference his PDF from 2005 and be like, okay, well, it's hotter now, so who knows?
Oh, yeah. Look at
Isn't that incredible? Here you can see, like, I think this is a really good example of Erythronium revolutum growing in like a very gardeny setting. So like it's mixed in with the hellebores here and like it's just self-sown, but I can't get over that variation in what the leaves look like. Like that one is so massive and so dark. And here's another like dark, tiny one. Then look at
Wow.
like the very silvery modeling. It's absolutely incredible. A thing to point out is look at this. Look at here we have one of the hybrid erythroniums like popping up in here. So one of the things that I really love that the O'Byrnes do is that a lot of people would keep different varieties of things like in separate areas, but I really love that the way that you'll see it at the O'Byrnes where like it's almost all the erythroniums are the same height, and then you have these couple other seedlings that pop in and just like because they echo the form of what's happening but are like slightly different, they make it look so impactful. Like it feels really naturalistic.
And then that just creates a whole habitat too for
Exactly.
little critters to live in. That's part of the reason their garden is just so rich and alive.
Well, it's something I always think about that's fun is like anything that is pendulous like that is evolved for a wet spring, because think about this. This is a little umbrella protecting the pollen from the rain. So that's why we have so many of these like really cool pendulous flowers in spring stuff here, is because it's evolved so that that pollen stays nice and dry for the bees.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Oh, that's actually a really good angle for taking this photo. Here, wait, let me just... Oh, look what we found. Donna, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming on Over the Fence tour, Skip.
I appreciate it. It was so much fun.